If your ankles look normal in the morning, but by evening your socks leave deep rings, do not dismiss it as just age. That swelling is not random. It is a sign that fluid is having trouble climbing back up from the lowest part of your body. The easy explanation is standing too long, sitting too long, or eating too much salt. Those things can matter, but they are not the whole system. The deeper question is this: why does the same day put so much fluid into your ankles and so little back into circulation? Your legs are not passive bags of water. They have a return system built from veins, valves, calf muscles, lymph vessels, and pressure gradients. When that return system slows down, gravity wins by the end of the day. That is why swollen ankles often appear late, after hours of sitting, standing, heat, travel, or a long day on your feet. The ankle becomes the place where the whole day collects. And if you're past 50, this matters because veins, valves, muscle, heart, kidneys, medicines, and movement habits can all change the same symptom. So before we talk about the 3 steps, one warning matters. Swelling in one leg that is sudden, painful, red, hot, or unexplained is not something to massage and ignore. Chest pain, shortness of breath, coughing blood, fainting, confusion, or swelling that comes with severe illness can be urgent. A blood clot, heart strain, kidney problems, infection, or another serious condition can look like ordinary swelling at first. If those signs are present, the first step is medical help, not a home routine. And if swelling is new, getting worse, linked with diabetes, known heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, or leg vein disease, it deserves a clinician's eyes. Now, if the swelling is mild, familiar, mostly on both sides, and appears after a long day, the system becomes easier to understand. There are 3 steps I would start with, and each one tests a different part of the return system. Step 1 is to read the pattern before you try to fix it. Step 2 is to restart the pump that moves fluid upward. Step 3 is to reduce the daily load that keeps pushing fluid down. If you understand those 3 steps, swollen ankles stop being a mystery and start becoming information. Let us begin with the system itself. Blood reaches your feet through arteries under pressure, but it returns from your feet through veins at much lower pressure. That return trip has to fight gravity every time you're upright. The body solves this problem with one-way valves inside the veins. When blood moves upward, the valves open. When blood tries to fall backward, the valves close. But valves alone are not enough. They need the calf muscle pump. Every time your calf contracts, it squeezes deep veins and pushes blood upward toward the heart. When the calf relaxes, the veins refill, and the valves help keep the flow from sliding backward. This is why walking is not just leg exercise. It is a pump cycle. The same idea works for ankle movement, calf raises, and even simple foot pumps while sitting. If the calf pump does not fire often, fluid has more time to pool at the ankles. This is why a long drive, a long flight, a desk day, or standing still behind a counter can create swelling without any dramatic injury. The system also includes lymph vessels. Veins return blood, while lymph vessels help collect extra fluid and proteins from the tissues. If lymph drainage is overwhelmed, damaged, or compressed, swelling can become heavier, thicker, and harder to move. So ankle swelling is not one thing. It is the visible result of fluid balance, venous return, lymph drainage, tissue pressure, and time upright. That is why the 3 steps must not be random tips. They have to match the machinery. Step 1 is pattern recognition. Do not begin by asking, "What cream should I rub on this ankle?" Begin by asking, "What pattern is this swelling following? Is it in one leg or both legs? Did it appear suddenly, or has it slowly become part of your evenings? Does it improve overnight when your legs are horizontal? Does pressing a finger into the shin or ankle leave a dent that stays for a few seconds? That dent is called pitting edema, and it tells you fluid is sitting in the tissue. Does the swelling come with pain, warmth, redness, fever, skin wounds, or new shortness of breath? Those details matter because the ankle is not giving you a diagnosis, it is giving you a clue. A simple evening check can be useful. Look at both ankles at the same time. Check whether the swelling is equal, whether socks leave marks, and whether the skin looks shiny or tight. Press gently for a few seconds and see whether a dent remains. Notice whether the swelling reaches the foot, the toes, the calf, or only the ankle. Write down what happened that day: sitting, standing, heat, salt, alcohol, travel, new medicine, or unusual effort. This takes 1 minute, but it turns fear into a pattern. If this kind of explanation helps you understand your body more clearly, subscribe to Feynman's Body Code. And write your age and country in the comments, plus whether your swelling happens in one ankle or both. That helps build a real picture of how this problem shows up in different lives. Now, step 2 is to restart the pump. This is the part most people underestimate because it looks too simple. But the calf muscle pump is one of the main engines that moves blood out of the lower legs. If your ankle swells after sitting, the first question is not only what you ate, it is how many times the pump fired. A sitting leg with still ankles is almost a closed warehouse for fluid. The veins are full. Gravity is pulling downward, and the calf is not squeezing often enough. So the first pump drill is ankle pumps. Point the toes away, pull the toes back, and repeat slowly until the calf starts working. This is not supposed to be violent or painful. It is a signal to the veins and lymph vessels that the leg is no longer parked. The second pump drill is calf raises. Hold a counter or chair if balance is not perfect. Rise onto the balls of the feet. Lower slowly, and let the calf squeeze like a pump. If standing is difficult, seated heel raises still give the calf something to do. The third pump drill is a short walk. Even a few minutes can change the pressure pattern in the lower leg because walking repeatedly compresses and releases the calf. This is why swelling often feels worse after standing still than after walking. Standing still gives gravity time. Walking gives the pump rhythm. After the pump work, use elevation. Elevation works because it changes the relationship between your ankles and your heart. If the ankles are below the heart all day, gravity adds pressure. If the ankles are above the heart for a while, gravity can help fluid move out. This is not magic. It is basic hydrostatic pressure. A practical evening routine is simple. Pump first, then elevate. Do not just lie down with frozen legs. Move the ankles, squeeze the calves, walk briefly if you can, then raise the legs. That sequence gives fluid a path instead of just hoping it disappears. Some people also benefit from compression socks, but this is not something to treat casually in every case. Compression can help support venous return and reduce fluid pooling, especially when used correctly and early in the day. But if you have artery disease, severe heart failure, nerve problems, fragile skin, wounds, or uncertain swelling, ask a clinician before using strong compression. The wrong pressure on the wrong leg is not a clever shortcut. Also, do not put compression over a suddenly swollen, painful, red-hot, one-sided leg until serious causes are ruled out. Step 2 is powerful, but it only works if step 1 has already separated familiar swelling from danger. Now, step 3 is reducing the daily load. This is where people usually want one miracle trick, but swelling is often a daily math problem. Fluid enters the tissues, fluid leaves the tissues, and the day decides which side wins. Salt is one part of that math. More sodium can make the body hold more water, and that extra water has to go somewhere. For many people, the lowest place at the end of the day is the ankle. This does not mean salt is the only villain. It means salt can amplify a system that is already struggling with gravity and return flow. Heat is another load. Warm weather can widen blood vessels and make fluid pooling easier. Alcohol can add its own effect through fluid balance, vessel tone, sleep quality, and next-day inflammation. Long sitting is a load. Long standing is also a load, especially standing still. The ankle does not care whether the day was inactive in a chair or inactive on your feet. What matters is whether the pump moved often enough. So step 3 begins by breaking long blocks of stillness. Every 30 to 60 minutes, give the ankles a pump cycle. Stand up if you can, walk for a minute, or do seated ankle pumps if standing is not available. This is not exercise theater. It is fluid mechanics. Shoes and socks also matter. Tight socks can create a ring where fluid piles up below the pressure line. Shoes that squeeze the foot can make swelling feel worse and can irritate the skin. Older skin does not always forgive pressure quickly. Wash, dry, and moisturize the feet, especially if swelling makes the skin tight or fragile. Skin cracks, blisters, drainage, ulcers, spreading redness, or increasing pain need medical attention. Medicine can also be part of the load. Some blood pressure medicines, hormones, steroids, antidepressants, anti-inflammatory drugs, and other medicines can contribute to swelling in some people. Do not stop a medicine on your own because your ankles swell. Bring the pattern to the prescriber and ask whether the timing fits. Weight around the abdomen can also affect drainage from the legs. Central weight can raise pressure in the abdomen and pelvis, making it harder for fluid to leave the lower body. This is not about blame, it is about pressure pathways. The body is a plumbing system with living tissue, and pressure in one area can slow flow in another. Now look at the evening swelling itself. If it improves after sleep, that suggests position and gravity are part of the story. If it does not improve, keeps worsening, becomes painful, or spreads upward, the story changes. If it is mostly one-sided, the story changes. If it comes with breathlessness, chest symptoms, or sudden fatigue, the story changes. These are the moments where the 3 steps do not replace evaluation. They help you understand the system, but they do not overrule danger signs. Before the evening protocol, there are a few mistakes that make swollen ankles more confusing than they need to be. The first mistake is only looking at the ankle after it is already swollen. If you never look in the morning, you do not know whether the swelling is new, constant, or gravity dependent. A morning ankle that is normal and an evening ankle that is puffy tells a different story from swelling that never goes down. The second mistake is ignoring the shoes and socks. A tight sock line can look harmless, but it can show where external pressure is trapping fluid below the band. A tight shoe can turn mild swelling into skin irritation, toe pressure, and pain by the end of the day. The third mistake is standing still and calling it activity. Standing behind a counter can feel active, but if the ankles barely move, the calf pump may still be quiet. For veins, movement is not the same as being upright. The fourth mistake is doing elevation without movement first. Elevation helps more when the pump has already squeezed some fluid toward the larger veins and lymph channels. That is why pump first, elevate second is usually a better order than simply lying down and waiting. The fifth mistake is assuming water is the enemy. Some people drink less because they fear swelling, but dehydration can make the body more stressed and does not solve a return flow problem by itself. Fluid balance is not only how much water you drink, it is sodium, kidneys, hormones, vessels, movement, and pressure. The sixth mistake is treating every swollen ankle as a vein problem. Veins are common, but the heart, kidneys, liver, lymph system, medications, inflammation, and injury can all create swelling patterns. The seventh mistake is waiting until the skin breaks. Swelling stretches the skin, and stretched skin can become dry, itchy, tight, and easier to injure. Once the skin opens, healing can be slower, especially if circulation, diabetes, or venous pressure is part of the problem. So skincare is not cosmetic here. It is part of protecting the barrier. The eighth mistake is using pain as the only alarm. Fluid can build gradually without much pain, especially when the problem is pressure, gravity, or venous return. The ninth mistake is only looking at the ankle and forgetting the calf. Calf tenderness, warmth, redness, or a one-sided size difference changes the level of concern. The 10th mistake is not connecting swelling to breathing. Legs swelling with new shortness of breath, trouble lying flat, chest pressure, or sudden fatigue is a different category. That does not mean every swollen ankle is dangerous, but it means the pattern decides how seriously to treat it. Now make the 3 steps practical enough that they can be done without turning the evening into a medical project. For step 1, give yourself 1 minute and collect 4 facts. Fact 1, one side or both sides. Fact 2, sudden or gradual. Fact 3, painful, hot, red, or painless. Fact 4, better by morning or still swollen. Those 4 facts are more useful than staring at the ankle and guessing. For step 2, choose a pump option that fits your body. If balance is poor, seated ankle pumps are safer than forcing standing calf raises. If knees or feet hurt, smaller motions still count because the goal is repeated squeezing, not athletic performance. If walking is comfortable, a short, slow walk may activate the pump better than isolated movements. For step 3, remove 1 load from tomorrow, not 10 loads at once. Choose 1 change you can repeat. Fewer long sitting blocks, looser socks, less salty evening food, or a planned leg elevation window. The body responds better to repeated small signals than to one dramatic day, followed by the same old pattern. That is how you turn 3 steps into a system instead of a trick. Now let us put the 3 steps into a simple evening protocol. First, check the pattern. Look at one leg versus both, sudden versus gradual, painful versus painless, and whether breathing or chest symptoms are present. Second, restart the pump. Do ankle pumps, gentle calf raises, or a short walk, depending on what your balance and joints allow. Third, unload the system. Elevate the legs, Reduce long stillness. Watch salt and heat triggers. Wear comfortable shoes and discuss compression or medicines when appropriate. Those 3 steps are not a cure for every cause of swelling. They are a way to organize the problem so you do not treat all swelling as the same thing. Because ankle swelling can come from veins. It can come from lymph drainage. It can come from the heart. It can come from kidneys. It can come from liver disease, low protein, medicines, inflammation, injury, pregnancy, or infection. This is why I do not like the phrase, "my ankles just swell because I'm older." Age can make the system less forgiving, but age is not a diagnosis. After 50, the valves may leak more, calf muscles may be used less, medications may change, and heart or kidney reserve may be lower. But the practical question is still the same. Where is the return system failing today? If the pump is asleep, wake it up. If gravity is winning, change position. If daily load is too high, reduce the load. If the pattern is dangerous, get help. That is the clean logic. Read the swelling, move the fluid, lower the load, and know when the problem is too serious to manage alone. Here's a useful test for the next 7 evenings. At the same time each evening, check both ankles and write down what you see. Then do the pump routine and elevate the legs for a short period. Afterward, check whether the swelling improves, stays the same, or worsens. If it consistently improves, you have evidence that gravity, stillness, and pump weakness are part of the pattern. If it does not improve, or if the pattern is new, one-sided, painful, or linked with other symptoms, that is information for a clinician. Do not walk into the appointment with only the sentence, "My ankles swell." Walk in with timing, side, pain, pitting, medicines, salt, travel, breathing symptoms, and what elevation did. That kind of information makes the conversation sharper. It helps separate ordinary gravity-dependent swelling from venous insufficiency, medication effects, lymph problems, and more serious causes. The ankle is the last place in the chain, but it may reveal the first weakness in the system. That is why swollen ankles at the end of the day deserve respect. Not panic, not denial. Respect, because the fluid at your ankles is telling a story about pressure, gravity, movement, vessels, and time. If you only look at the swelling, you miss the system behind it. But if you read the pattern, restart the pump, and reduce the load, you're finally working with the body instead of guessing. Swollen ankles are not always dangerous, but they are never meaningless. They are a message from the lowest point of the body. And the message is simple. Fluid needs a way back up. Give it a pump, give it a path. And when the pattern looks wrong, give it medical attention.